I see level 253 Buccaneer. You gain some levels.
Yeah.
Is it all grinding? Are you throwing like growth potions on here? What are you?
Um,
What are we doing?
this is my hyper burn, like
Mm-hmm.
this, and I try to like grind for about a WAP once a week at least, if not more. But
Mm-hmm.
it's mostly potions. Like I grinded real hard till 250 from there
Mm-hmm.
on potions.
Okay. And then your plan is to keep going with the character and to like slowly keep progressing.
Yeah, this is my main. Like
Okay.
eventually Calloused and beyond.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Callus and beyond. All right. So you want to get to 260 quickly. Start building Sacred Power. Get the 6th job immediately when that comes out.
I'm talking about years, but
Yeah.
like my current goals are like to get around to 60 until
Mhm.
the end of this event
Uh-huh.
because all of the sacred symbols in the shop,
Okay. Yes.
and to 70 till New Age. I want like to have a solid foundation when New Age gets here, and then like I want to start my liberation at New Age.
Okay. Okay, sounds reasonable. If you have enough time and everything. So, how are you feeling with the game? Cause did you play like a while ago and then came back, or?
I did play years and years ago,
Yeah.
but I came back around 2 years ago to Reg
Mm.
server. Got there to
Right.
260, almost like I soloed the normal Lucid and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I got blocked at like, hey, you need to pay money
Yeah.
if you want to
The
queue
credit
shit,
card gate.
and
Yeah.
I'm free to play, so that did not suit me well.
Yeah.
And I moved to Reboot, like since this March.
This March. Okay. Okay. All right. And how are you feeling about reboot? You feeling more optimistic about the progress and getting into late game and end game and stuff?
Yeah, it's a lot more streamlined. I hate Starforce, and that's the main thing here, but I love the other aspects of the game. So,
Well, we had Shining. How did that go? Did you set up a
um,
plan?
yeah, I got my CRA to 19s and my Absols to 17. My
Mm-hmm.
Dominator is at 16, ready to Sweet War when I'll have the Narrows, but
Mm-hmm.
still working on the Dreadnought first.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's pretty good then,
Um,
right? Pretty good gains. We got some
yeah,
superior pieces here. We got full 17. Did you get a
yeah.
weapon, or are you sticking with the fake weapon
Um,
here?
I'm going with fake till like hard lucid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did I get an arcane drop?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that could take a while, but or until you can afford one, or are you only gonna wait for a drop?
Only drop. Like, I'm pretty close to getting to party. Like, I need
Mm-hmm.
to start looking for a party soon. I'm at about 1.5 trill damage in a 40-second.
Okay.
I was told like 2 to 2.5 is good to contribute
Yeah.
decent amount.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as everyone in the party is kind of on the right track. Well, I mean, I know that you've been in chat a lot and you've listened to a lot of stuff I've been saying. So is there stuff you want to start off with, like things that I say that you are wondering about, or maybe some commands that you've seen where you don't know 100% how it applies to your situation?
About commands, not really. I use the calculators and always get bumped. I get above average
Okay.
costs, but except for that, I mostly like. I'm not sure about Meso gear and drop gear. How much
Mm-hmm.
should I focus on it right now? And my inner ability, because I accidentally rolled my best in slot legendary when I tried to get Meso or drop,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't switched it since.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Meso gear and Meso drop gear and inner ability are kind of connected, right? Because early on,
Yeah.
usually I advise people to get like a training inner ability until you get further into the game, until you really have to, basically until your account starts self-sustaining with bossing mules, and then the amount of income that comes from your drop rate gear is so from your inner ability is so small in terms of the total amount of gains you make that at that point it does make sense. Plus, you need the time to make honor experience as well before you can make that switch. So what do you have right now? Where's your inner ability? Is it a little bit lower down?
It's in the stats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
If you click on the left side, there's a summary which lets you jump.
You're such a nerd. I love it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, at the most bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. Legion Link familiar. Legion chest.
Yeah, it's in the stats. The one you're looking at right now.
Yep.
Legion
This
Link.
is under Legion Link sets. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yes. All right. So you hit this, and then you want to So, I don't know if there's like a metaphor or something. Let me just get straight to the point, I guess. So hitting 17% boss is nice, but what that does is it does not do anything for you when you're mobbing, and you're going to be disproportionately training and grinding quite more than you're going to be bossing. So even though eventually you want to get to the boss damage, and that's going to be your best in slot legendary line, right now it doesn't really help you as much. So you can kind of compare it to, eventually, like Sweetwater accessories is a good example. Like eventually, if you get like a 22-star Sweetwater pendant that's transposed, is like going to be best in slot for you all the way until you can get, even with the transposed nerf, all the way until you can get a Source of Suffering. But just getting, instead of building up your boat, immediately buying a Sweetwater pendant and equipping it doesn't mean you now have best in slot. Right? So the inner ability is very similar. Just because eventually you get there doesn't mean that right now it's the best move for you. Because right now, what it means is that you cannot get, well, you don't really need crit, but right now you cannot get any drop rate percentage, which means you're going to be slightly slower in getting backups and getting rare drops, like Dominator Pendants, like Papulatus Marks, like Slime Rings, right? Those kind of harder to find drops.
Yeah.
And because your account is disproportionately more affected by the amount of money you make while you're training on the Buccaneer. Do you have a VEC bet, by the way? Because for Buck, that's very important. Probably not, right?
I have.
Oh, yeah, you have the temporary one,
the
yeah.
free one, yeah, and we're about to get another free one in the upcoming event.
Yeah.
So I'll have a few months of back bets, so for now I'm good.
Yeah. Well, that's because Buck, like, you dash around very, very quickly, and it's very hard for your pets to loot if they're not VEC pets. So it's going to be harder for you to fund yourself with your main character if there's no VEC pet. So, like, the Meso obtain will be disproportionately even more important. So things that are also connected is, like, making wealth acquisition potions. Have you ever looked into that?
I already did the Threads of Fate. Like, I have my... I barely do it. Like, I always forget to do the half an hour each time because I need to remember that to switch channels. And
Same, me too. Yeah, it's too far away, right? Like, it's too many clicks, and then it just out of sight, out of mind, as they say.
Yeah.
Like the event buff, right? Like the Blake event buff is like, oh, I forgot to click it again.
I used it once.
Yeah.
I forgot to upgrade it.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, the idea was there, but like the execution, it's just a little too far away. I feel like for these events, it'd be okay if there was like just a button on your screen that you can move around, where it's just like, hey, activate the click the attack one or the mobbing one, and then once you use your 4, it like disappears or something. Like, yeah, it's so annoying that they give you things, but you have to go through so many steps to claim it. I feel like it's all an elaborate ruse just to get you to play longer because you're just clicking through menus more than you're actually gaming,
Yeah.
Like when you're thinking about reward points in Maple M, it's like you go to Maple M, you do the daily, then you click there, then you get them on reboot, then you double click to receive them, then you click them in your inventory, then you go into the cash shop, and then you have them. And it's like, that's so many hoops.
Get
right?
it immediately
Yeah.
when I finish MapleStory M. It's already connected.
Yeah, the MapleStory M, you do it, and then you log in, and then your number went up, But yeah, so it feels like the whole system says, maybe this is the cleanest workaround they can get, because I don't know how their code looks. It's probably a nightmare, right? But it feels like the whole system is built to keep you busy for as long as possible. But okay, Yeah, so I would say that about the inner-ability. So I think it's totally fine in the short term also to just to roll over this. And also because the faster you commit to the training inner-ability, so either like main drop rate and a little bit of Meso, which would be either probably an epic line, right? Or the other way around, I think is fine. And then you can just lock that in, keep that, and then just, really not look around, because you're in a good situation where you don't need attack speed +1, you don't need buff duration, you don't need any of those big lines. So it's really just Meso and drop. And then also once you get used to the damage without the boss damage, then you can still make a significant upgrade once you switch inner abilities, because then you'll see your damage go up quite a bit. Whereas you'll be in a time in the game there where making that kind of upgrade is going to be insanely expensive. So it's going to feel good in that way by not having that damage now.
Yeah, should I wait for Sunny Sunday for the 50% or?
You can already use circulators to roll a different line to either Meso or drop. And then I would hold that, and then during 50% off, lock it and get something on the second or third line, whichever percentage you didn't get, and then keep that.
I mean, this Sunday it's 50% off.
Yeah, I think it's soon, right?
I don't understand circulators. That's something Rig does not have, and I completely went past it.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I know in non-reboot you've got like the pink ones, and then and there's some that cost money and everything. It's pretty simple. So they cost 18 mil in the cash shop. If you use it, you can use the previous, like your existing line, or you can switch to the new one. So it's like black cubes in that sense that you don't have to pick. And every line, so there's a good chance to tier up, but yours is already legendary, so that's not the thing anymore. But it's good value for other characters in the future to use that to tier up with to get to legendary. That way you save the most of your honor experience for the rolls rather than for the tiering up. And
but tiering up is really cheap. Like,
yes, but honor experience is really slow, and getting your perfect inner ability later might cost you several millions. So the more you spend early, the longer you have to wait until you get your inner ability that you want. So spending a little bit of money instead is basically like buying honor EXP.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, and so honestly, if you're like, well, I have honor XP, but I can't really afford the Meso, then just wait and do it later. Because if you rush there, you're gonna wish later that you hadn't. Because all in all, it's not that important that early on, but that honor experience is actually really valuable that early on. So it's best to be patient with that one. And then the other thing the circulators do is that whatever line they roll, it's always going to be the highest percentage of that line in that tier. You're familiar with the variance?
Yeah. Like I got 17 when I could have gotten anything between 15 and 20.
Yeah, and with the circulator, if it hits boss damage on legendary, it'll always be 20. So that's why they're good in the beginning to get that max drop or max Meso, and then also later, once you go for your bossing inner ability, then you'll use circulators again, but this time not for the top line, but to hit the unique line that you want. So it is possible also if you use circulators for some reason that you hit like a 15% Meso unique line, for example, and not the legendary that you want, then you keep that 15% Meso unique line, right? Because then you can lock that one, and during the 50% off, roll the top one, and then just get drop on the top, and then the total might be better.
Okay.
But, there's a lower chance of that happening. You're like 99% chance likely you're going to hit Meso or drop on the top line before you see anything like that on unique. But it is possible. Because, it's mostly going to be epic lines and everything. I think it's in New Age that the percentages for epic and for, I think rare is removed, and then epic goes up and unique goes up even more, so it's going to be even cleaner back then. So that's also a good thing, right? Because then now you get your training inner ability, wait for New Age, and then you can get at the better rates, you can get a way better inner ability then as well. But yeah, so then for the bossing switch, the idea is use circulator, get your best in slot unique line first, and then lock that, and then roll for the legendary line. That will give you some variance on the legendary line, but because a perfect unique line is actually really close to a legendary line, this will basically make it like you have 1 3/4 of a legendary line eventually. And then what you can do later to perfect, if the numbers aren't quite where you want them to be, is there's 3 other circulators. One is a legendary circulator, but that just brings your inner ability to legendary, and that's priced for non-reboot, so we don't want to use that on reboot. That's way too pricey. One is a black circulator, and one is a chaos circulator. The Chaos Circulator will keep the same type of lines, but will randomly re-roll within the tiers. So, like you said, again, the variants, right? 15 to 20. And it will just give you a random number. But you cannot save the previous one. So that is absolute chaos. So for Reboot, we don't want to use those. Especially not if you did the interoperability the right way. Because then you will ruin your unique line with 90% chance. But the black circulators do the same as the Chaos Circulator, but the added power that you can choose the previous one or the new one. So if you endgame want to min-max your interoperability, the black circulators is the one you'll look for. And they start adding them more and more into event shops, so they're a little bit more reachable, usually from the weekly coin shop.
Yeah, so right now I want to use circulators, get a good Meso or drop line, and then roll for the other line on unique or something like that.
If you get unique, that's great, but it's probably going to be epic, like 8, 9, or 10%, and then that's good enough. Then you have, in total about 30% of combined stuff helping you out.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty big.
Yeah. So that's the interoperability part, and then we have Meso and Drop Gear is, kind of in tandem. Well, you did Threads of Fate already, so that's good. And then we have Meso and Drop Gear kind of like in tandem with that. So what's your current, your main question was just like, is it worth it?
Like, how much should I push for Meso and Drop when I'm really pushing for, like, bosses right now? Like, I want to get Hard Lucid as fast as I can so I could start getting my Arcane drops. Like, if I want to be able to liberate, that's minimum 17 Arcanes. Like, now it's easier than before, but minimum 17 Arcanes, I need, like, a few drops, maybe go a bit higher than 17, so there's pretty hefty amount of drops I need, and I need to start collecting them as soon as possible.
Yeah, the question is if you can just barely make the damage with like some legendary accessories and then start running the boss, will that make you progress faster than making? You still want drop gear, not for the arcanes, of course. Like that's not gonna matter that much. Maybe a little bit for Twilight marks, but mostly like for the other drops that I mentioned, right? Like kind of treasure rings, dominators, slime ring. Those rare drops, primals maybe for Meister rings, because it's not
I already
just.
got one dominator. So
Yeah, that's a good start. Yeah, and if you're transposing, you only need one, so that's the good part. And for superior Galax drops as well, right? That's how far are you with that? You have 2 pieces, I think.
Yeah, I have my belt and earrings.
Okay, nice.
I'll switch my current earrings probably into Meso gear. Or drop, depends what I get first.
Yeah.
I'm looking for most of those like at the DMT to save money to get to legendary.
Yes, is that in 3 weeks or?
Yeah, 2 weeks is the accessory DMT, I think.
2 weeks, okay. Yeah. Well, we have one this Saturday. Oh, that's a weapon and secondary or something, right? Yeah.
I'm pushing my Princess now to legendary this week.
Yeah, I saw you were holding unique. Yeah, so you're pushing the Princess No, and then because you have 18% already on the frozen one, right? Yeah. Yeah, and as far as unique goes, that's like as good as it's gonna get. So then you can freely just glowing roll on the Princess No, and then only switch if it's something better. Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, you should be able to, like with the set bonuses, with your CRA already being at 19, and the full Ebzo 17. You're losing a lot of potential damage by keeping the fake weapon. And I wonder if, I'm thinking now, like, does it make sense to keep the fake weapon, to skip making a real weapon, but then have to make damage accessories, and then having to go back to make drop and Meso accessories later? Here's what I'll say. If you go predominantly for, like, drop and damage, that'll be good for your progression on your one character, but you'll have to supplement that with, like, bossing mules to keep up with the demand for just the cost as well once you get the arcanes to be able to even upgrade them properly?
Yeah, currently I have one Lumion Boss Mule,
Okay.
and my Kali is getting pretty strong. Like I'm trying not to invest too much money on it because right now I am focusing on my main.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Demon Slayer
Uh,
is doing Lotus and Demon. Do you feel like you're doing that in a reasonable amount of time though?
no, usually I cut Lotus and Damon and do everything else. Like Akechi is like 2 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
like exactly 2 bursts.
Yeah,
One
two
burst for
bursts.
the
Yeah. Demon Slayer, yeah. One burst P1, one burst P2, yeah. And CPAP kind of the same, like one big burst and then another burst at the end of phase 1 and then into phase 2 kind of thing.
I finished it in one burst.
You finished that one? Okay, cool. You got some nodes on there for the Demon Awakening?
Um, not really. Like I opened the Demon Slayer as my first character to actually build up the account and get my Legion to this point before the
Right.
Hyper Burning.
Okay.
And at some point I said, okay, from this moment on, I feel like this Demon Slayer is strong enough. I can do the bosses I do with them, and I save everything else for the main.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
now, because the Kali event is so strong with the amount of nodes it gives, which feels like the big constraint for Boston Mules right now, I just I'm going to level her up to 225. That's when the nodes stop, and take her to around CRA Boston Mule.
Have you used the EXP tokens or whatever they are in the event?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how I got her from 200 to 220.
Okay. Because I was gonna say if you get her to 225, maybe then with those you can get her up to 230 and get the potion as well. But yeah, okay.
The potion is not tradable from what I understood.
Yeah, no, it's just on the Kali. But then you basically get more value out of the EXP tickets because then instead of giving you 5, they will give you 6 levels, right? But okay, you already used them. I think I will too, by the way. So it's not saying it's a bad decision at all. Okay. And are there any other characters you had in mind to get because the main reason you want to invest, you want to make drop in Meso gear is so that you can increase your overall income when you're training, when you're grinding, and then the main thing is that once you do get those big pieces, you actually have the funds to upgrade them, and you're not like some people who are like, oh, I'm just going to get carried on all the bosses, and now I have like a really strong piece, but then they have a really strong piece. They have like an 11-star arcane weapon with like the worst flame you've ever seen and like unique potential because they can't afford to upgrade it, and it's like there's such a thing as cutting too many corners because if you take only shortcuts, then you're just standing still, right? If you take all of the shortcuts in the world, you're just not moving anywhere. So you want to, because I'm thinking that in like the total progress of your account, I think you can be fast enough, strong enough to get into Hard Lucid without needing to go full drop or Meso. But eventually you will want to, but you want to be starting, making the requirements for Hard Lucid first. You're already doing full bonus damage. Your arcane power's fine, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, it's 900 with the thing. Yeah, that's good. You could probably do it. I mean, you're a Buccaneer, right? So you can also just like slap the boss into submission kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you have experience with bossing in general already because you had Demon Slayer, so not your first rodeo.
I also did like normal Lucid Sorrows for 20 minutes as a Fire Poison, so...
Oh yeah, in the non-reboot, yeah.
Yeah, so... I did almost all bosses up to Black Mage. So I know the mechanics, I just need to learn how to not TP class through it.
TP?
Lotus.
Oh,
yeah, because I was Mage. When I tried Lotus with the Buccaneer, I died so many times to the lasers.
Well, yeah, you have, but if you use your Howling Fist, at the right time, you can dash through one, and then you just hold the lightning form, right? One ball, dash through, and then he's probably already dead if you But
Yeah, I'm
now you
talking
could.
when
Yeah, in the
I tried
beginning.
it on 7K stats. So.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, and especially then you're in phase one so long, and then it starts speeding up the laser. Then, and on the EU ping, it's or well, the even further away ping, it's the laser is like dancing around the map, right? It's a little bit trickier.
Yeah.
You can definitely do that. Yeah. Yeah, I think in your account, since you've already at least got like a Lotus and Damien build, that's already a decent amount of money. And then the Kali's bringing in some money. I would definitely keep an eye out for other characters that you're thinking about. Maybe, getting up there a
Yeah.
little bit.
I started already. Like I got when I started building my legion, I like searched for characters I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I found the Cannon Master really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's already like 202, ready for whenever I'll have nodes and money to spare for it.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Dark Knight. Hero, Paladin is nice. Like I'm slowly building them up, but I don't want to spend no money nor node stones on them.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to see where
Maybe
they are at and what you can do with them, and then if you want to speed them up or do more stuff, then note stone them. But it's good to see what they can already do clean, so that you have a good sense of where they're at.
Yeah.
Yep. I see you like strength characters. I I feel that.
Actually, that's when I started.
Mm-hmm.
I planned my entire legion before I created the first character.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, I need strength legion. I want to get all the strength bonuses, and those are the characters I'll play.
I see that. Okay. It's too much mage fire poisoning and non-reboot. You were like, I need something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of pressure. I still play on it from time to time when like I feel like not nostalgic, but when I want to try it again.
Mm-hmm. Is it like still in a similar position? Like the whole game as a whole there, or no?
Yeah, it's 260, so it's not that old.
But I mean, like some of the stuff changed a lot between reboot and non-reboot, like a while ago, right? Like the reboot passive and everything. I don't know if you ever tried reboot back then, or if this was the first time you tried it on reboot.
This is the first time.
Oh, okay. So you have nothing to compare it to, otherwise. I see. Okay. All right. And is the community still there? Are people happy or upset with the game there?
The hate on reboot is really strong.
I just don't understand. I mean, I don't understand reboot people hating on non-reboot either, but it's just so weird to have any kind of opinion on like a different version of the game's progress. Like, who cares? It doesn't affect you in any way.
It just feels like the game is really catered to reboot, and non-reboot gets kind of fucked.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting though, right? Because in Korea they actually don't think about reboot at all, and it's all about non-reboot and making money there.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like, and we don't have red cards like in reboot, so I don't understand what they're complaining about.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing. It's very easy to focus on like the 3 things you don't have, and then overlook the 50 things that you do have. That's what happens a lot when people try to job change. They're like, oh, that other character, that has like a 20-second cooldown iframe, and only have a 30-second. And that other character has this really cool mobbing skill, and then they job change, and they're like, "Oh my god, these 2 things are really cool, but everything else about the class sucks. I want to switch back immediately." It's very easy to start. There's something about it's easy to see the splinter in someone else's eye, and then ignore the beam in your own in your own eye. You just get used to it, right? It's like grass is greener kind of thing. Yeah. That's interesting, though. I mean, we did get that feedback from Korea that a lot of the non-reboot players did move over to reboot because they felt like there was just too much, especially in the end game, too many obstacles to enjoying the game, and then seeing, somebody in reboot, from scratch was able to get to like soloing Black Mage in like a year without spending any money. In comparison, it feels silly that we're playing reboot, playing non-reboot, which I mean I would agree with, but that's why I'm on reboot, right? But I guess in GMS people are feeling similar thing. Yeah, I mean it must suck spending like thousands of dollars and then feeling like a free-to-play server is able to get there. But I mean it's just a different experience. It's a different game, so I don't know. they probably wouldn't want to play Reboot, right? Because they'd have to play way more. I don't know. It seems silly to
No,
compare.
people play like hours upon hours,
Mm-hmm.
and like, but they just like the option to be able to spend like $100 each week on cubes, and like see their stat go up, and the stat inflation there is really huge because of the scrolls and bonus potentials.
Yeah. Yeah, we looked at some videos of the
People like
that
that more, I
whale
guess.
arc guy is like the huge content creator in Korea. He was like soloing
over there,
things
70
with his
to
arc.
90K's endgame.
Yeah, he was 91 or 92k stat, I think. He was like blowing up bosses with the 6 job skills. It was like, okay, these are like the videos that make people think that classes are OP and that make devs like nerf characters. But even though like nobody can actually get that strong realistically. I don't, so I like the videos for the for the impact, and everyone likes to see big numbers and bosses blow up. But if the results are people setting like unrealistic expectations of how strong they think they're ever going to be able to be, and makes the devs think, oh, this is actually overpowered, we need to nerf everyone in that class now because this is apparently capable if you spend like $1 million on your account, then those videos become, you start seeing them in a different light.
And like real money trading is huge.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, like there's like that's kind of racist, but people call them like the Spanish mob.
Mm-hmm. I heard, yeah.
Yeah, and
it's racist because they're actually Mexican and well, probably Peruvian, I think. It always was. Peru had a lot of players way back in the day.
And like people farming Oz rings and selling them for like $1,000 each, like row 4.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the problem there is the Meso limitation, right? Because people want to sell them for more than 100 bill, and they probably would, but you can't trade for more, so it's just hard to trade for something that's that valuable. But the reason that the Meso is so invaluable, or so low value, is because of the inflation from the Meso traders, right?
I think $1,000 is above the Meso limit.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
They don't trade Meso. They just PayPal it and give it in trade.
Yeah, and that goes back into like, well, why are you you have a whole community that's like upset with how the game is run. So their way of fixing it is not by complaining or coming up with solutions or not playing the game anymore, but it's just like, well, we'll just breach the TOS then. It's like, well, you kind of lose your standing to give any kind of feedback and to complain at that point because now you become part of the problem that makes it as bad as it is. So kind of like self-defeating at that point. But okay, we're getting a little bit off topic. Want to make sure that we get you the help that you want. So when it comes to like making the money for your account, Meso drop key or interoperability, does that all make sense, or did you still have outstanding questions there?
Like I'm still not 100% convinced about if I really should go for Meso. Like I do 1 WAP a week.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to do more, but it's kind of tough. I have a pretty busy schedule.
Yeah.
Like I time every day for like the dailies, then some, but usually I don't have. Even if I have the time, I don't have the mental power to go and grind for 2 hours.
I think it'd make more sense to work on bossing mules and find like a half hour here and there to do some bosses on. And then within that half hour, you'll make more money than you would grinding anyway. And then if you have time to grind, then you just focus on the EXP.
Yeah, and if that's the case, how much message should I have? Because I am intending to go up to 270 eventually, which is a lot of money.
Yeah. But like what you said, I think I would focus on getting the damage and getting like the BA for Herd Lucid first. And try to do that as much as possible without needing the accessories too much. So maybe like 1 line of stat, or maybe like 12% or like 15 or 18% like at the most, if it goes to legendary. And then if you can then get enough damage and other upgrades happen, like symbols level up, all of that stuff, then then you can slowly start converting the legendary accessory pieces into drop and meso without losing damage, and then that will start increasing your money.
Yeah, like
Especially if you get the weapon,
accessory
right?
wise.
If you can afford or get a weapon, arcane weapon, then you can pretty much immediately switch because that's a huge increase in damage.
Yeah, and like accessory wise, I'm pretty good on drop and meso. I think right now I have my pendant, which I'll only have one meso pendant because the other will always be the XP when I'm grinding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got my face eye accessory, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
and I will have meso earrings soon, and all my rings are drop right now. Like my event rings are drop, and I'll get 2 event rings this week, which will also go for drop
Yep.
probably.
True. Yeah, don't get too many rings. Make sure you do the maths there. Don't get too many like rings on one character, because there's another one with the bubble event as well, right? But I guess you already have one.
That's
Yeah.
one of the 2. I get the bubble and
oh yeah,
the
you don't have
one
the pass for the. So you're getting one there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll have total of 4, which are all the good ones,
Yeah.
because the Eternal Flame and
Eternal
the 3
Flame.
main
Yeah.
ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
then
every
you just
new
have
event ring will go
Gallix.
for the boss mules.
Yes. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you have enough accessories. Yeah, you got 2 lines of meso and then mostly drop from now. Yeah, that's probably good. So you have like 2 and
like
6, and then 1 spirit pendant. Yeah. Okay. I think that's good enough. Yeah. I feel pretty confident that you'll be able to have enough damage. Like you understand the game enough, and like where damage is and where damage comes from. That I think that'll be. I know that'll be enough for you to get into Art Lucid. And then you just rush for that weapon as soon as possible. And once you have the weapon, you can convert without losing damage. Like you'll gain so much damage compared to from a fake Abzo to a real arcane, especially because of the potential as well. And then if you convert the drop in the meso, well, to like 4 and 4 probably, right? Because of the or like 5 and 3 for the stuff. But by that point, you'll also have like more accessories that are switching out because of like Superior Galax, because of Sweetwater stuff. So, and then in the switching out, some of the old drop or meso or damage accessories will turn into just kind of like useless pieces, and then you can re-roll those for meso and drop to kind of like fit the stats. So you might not have to redo all of your event rings, for example, if they, because one of them will probably roll like 24, 27% strength, and you don't want to have to re-roll into drop or meso after you hit that, right?
Yeah.
So you have some extra accessories that can fill in the space.
Yeah, I don't know if like I should keep the Silver Blossom or not for eventual Meso gear.
Yeah, I would always keep one of those just in case. I mean, it's only epic, so you're using it now for damage. But I'll always keep an ring like that, yeah, because that'll be easy access. Because you have Silver Blossom, you have 4 event rings. Probably don't mess with the Ifia. You'll have Superior Galax. You can always get the Treasure Hunter John ring, and then some people buy Reinforced, and then you have that's more than enough access to rings, I think.
Yeah. All right. I forgot about the Treasure Hunters.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy access one. If you need something extra somewhere, you can very easily half an hour, boom, maybe even less.
Okay. Yeah, for the next Shining, I don't really know, like, where I could improve. Not Shining, Starforce event in general.
Mm-hmm. So that would be the next 5, 10, 15, right? Because 30% off is probably not something. I mean, well, there might be gains for 30% off on bossing mules, right? To try to get like 17 CRA on there. So I think you'll always have one character that's like in the phase of, okay, I have CRA, but I need to get it to 15. Oh, I have 15 CRA, but I need to get it to 17. and my main character maybe wants to make some gains towards, you know, like 21 on CRA, or towards getting the fodder for superior up to 21, something like that. So there's always going to be like the move of like which character gets to get pushed. Usually like, okay, does the main need damage for the next step? Yes. Does it also have backups? No. Okay, next character, you know. Next character is a bossing mule that has like 15 star CRA, and there's a 5, 10, 15 coming, and the character can now do like Akechi and CPAP, but you know, Lotus and Damien can technically do it, but takes forever, so I want more damage. So take that one up to 17 CRA, so you can do that stuff more easily. Maybe 17 kind of treasuring if you got a drop, if you're doing Princess Snow, you know, something like that. If it doesn't have like event rings, full force set, that kind of thing. And the other thing is like if it's a 30% off, then probably kind of skip that character for now, and then go on to the character below that has like, you know, has the CRA at like 10 star or something, and get that at 15 first. So the next 5 and 15, you can do those two bottom characters. But always check on like which character needs to make a big step, and does it have the backups. But of course for the boss mules, that second question is very easy, because now the only thing you really need backups for is if you want to do 16 to 17 without safeguarding, right? Because during a 5 and 15, it's like free up to 16 now, and safeguarding is really only there for 1 star, which is a little weird, I think, currently.
Yeah. It's in 6 months, safeguards to 1 stars.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I don't know. Well, not for us, but maybe in Korea, yeah. I think it would make sense to either just get safeguarding, just completely get rid of it, and just adjust the prices a little bit up to 17 or something to even it out, or yeah, make safeguard up to 19 or something like that. 20 they probably won't do, because then that's a safe spot, and then 21 is pretty free. They probably want to, you know, keep it off a little bit more, but at least like 18 or 19, I think that would make sense, because safeguarding is just floating in a really weird spot.
Yeah. Another thing, today they pretty much confirmed that we get 1,200 nodes.
That's the yeah. So other servers have the warm up event for sixth for the 6th job
Yeah,
stuff.
GMS, like in the update preview, there is like a picture of the 6 star with 1,200 nodes in there.
In the update preview.
Yeah, at the bottom.
Wait, where's that? Let me see. On the, was it during a stream or on the website?
On the website.
Oh, on the website. Ooh. Oh, 15 hours ago, this thing. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that later today.
Yeah, well, there's a picture there with 1,200 nodes and a potion that looks like a potion to 260. Like, it's a new potion. So
oh,
I'm
this
not sure, like,
the golden one. Yeah.
I'm not sure, like, how should I use the nodes? Because that's
yeah.
a huge amount of nodes. I could either build a few boss mules with that, or I could, like, pretty much 100% my nodes on the main.
Okay,
or
yeah, so
both.
yeah. Let's see. Let's see, what's your current matrix? Oh wait, that's a little bit. Oh no, never mind. You said we have a fee matrix. I'm learning. Yeah, okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so the left side is my bossing nodes, and the right side is my mobbing.
Left or right side?
Like the 2 right nodes.
Oh yeah, the boost nodes. Yeah, I see. Yeah, my buck has the mine was also hyperburn, so I've got the same setup stuff. I guess when you're bossing, you completely unequip the mobbing ones, right?
Pretty I can.
Like, yeah, pretty much do nothing. But you're high enough level now that you don't really. I mean, what would you get out of it? Like you can get your bind and your decent combat orders, right?
Yeah, I need my blink for Lucid.
Yeah, it's pretty useful. Yeah. Well, yeah, when you're soloing, if you're in a party, you know, and everyone's killing golems, you can just like zoom to one of the corners quickly as soon as you hear, and then if you hold an iframe, hold an iframe, you could just press iframe and then zoom through to the other side in the iframe. But yeah, blink is very, very, very useful.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're in a good spot. Yeah, your Lord of the
on
Deep is
Lord of the
good.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sounds are very high. I mean, you could definitely improve your damage on this one, and you're looking at like the burst damage for the arc. Like the lightning form lasts a little bit longer, right? I wouldn't worry too much about overdrive.
It's not the duration, I think. Oh, it
No?
is. It does change the duration. I
Mhm.
thought it only changes the final damage %.
The final damage gets changed, I think, only a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
But the I think the duration goes up. I think almost like a second per level, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, all the way up to 80 seconds, and then 26% final damage. And the 26 is versus the 20, so it's still nice, but it's only 6 percentage points final damage. But the duration goes from 50 to 80, so that's
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah, that's huge. Especially if you need the mobility for something, right? And the orbs.
It usually kills me and doesn't help me because I accidentally double press send.
Well, the orbs do up to 780% as well, so that's more than double the damage than at level 1.
Yeah, like
It's big burst.
I put my EXP node stones into that because my Lord of the Deep is almost done already.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so I put EXP nodes and nodes toward lightning form now. Your boost nodes will eventually just max out anyway. There's no rush on those. The question is more, do you, try to maybe get your Howling Fist up a little bit just to, spice up that BA, right, for the 40-second BA?
I think overdrive is more important. Like,
yeah. I just don't like the scaling of overdrive on a Absolab weapon, because Knuckles have such shitty base attack. Overdrive, I think, only starts working well once you have an arcane weapon.
Okay.
It's just, yeah, what is your base attack? Is it like 100 and, like 140 or something? No, it's not even, might be even less, 120?
154.
Yeah, 154. Ugh. At least arcane is like 221. So then, then the percentage starts counting. But this is like less attack than like a Fafnir staff or something.
How much strength is like... I think a clean Arcane Umbra will upgrade me if it's 220.
Yeah, 221. Like just a flame on a Umbra will already be an upgrade without potential and Starforce, probably.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, 2.6 is is it 107? Something like that. So like just with a flame, it'll be like 330 attack or something with the 2.6. No Starforce, yeah. Well, that's why I was saying, right? Like when you make that upgrade, you could definitely switch all your accessories back into drop and Meso to finish whatever stats you don't have, because your damage will still go up. Because then add percentage attack instead of these shitty lines. Critical rate is dead for you. This is basically one prime boss damage line with a little bit extra. You got a good flame here though, so that's nice. You got boss and all stat and attack. Like that's a good combo. But yeah, just flames on Abso are good, but only if you compare it to Fafnir. Flames on Abso are garbage if you compare it to Arcane. Yeah, because it's so much worse. Yeah.
So I should probably like split half my nodes into the main and half to like 3 boss mules. Like 200 nodes each would probably put them pretty comfortably on CRA boss mule.
Yeah, I would go back to what I said before, where if you are working on those, the warriors mainly, right? Is that what you were trying to work on? I would see like where they're already at and what they can do, and then see if they can realistically make a jump. I would always, my rule of thumb is usually for CRA, if you just try and make like a bare bones boss mule, 100 nodes can already get you very far. If you're trying to add like Lotus and Damien like that far, I'd probably go up to like a total of at least like 400 nodes per character. So if they already have 100 in there, and if you got like 4 bossing mules that can make the jump, because equip-wise, they've got their CRA pieces. Maybe they've got like reinforced Galax. I don't know if you like how far you'll be at that point.
Yeah, right now they're not 200 yet. So.
Yeah, so right now they're still pretty far. Do you have any nodes left over at this point, or are you just slamming everything?
I'm slamming everything on the buck. Just 1200 is a pretty decent amount.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm thinking how much your main character really needs it. I'm lost again. Bam. Because you have your boost nodes at a good level. The lightning form can still be boosted, of course, but we always have nodes and EXP nodes and stuff like that every now and then coming. So I wonder how much you really need to push this guy in terms of nodes versus, because we want to keep the damage on a character. We want to make it sure that we're not too meso dependent by this guy, which means we're disproportionately more meso dependent with the bossers, for the free time, so that if you have a half hour, you can crank out some bosses with the mules. Because I'm thinking if you get in total like 6 characters, 200 nodes each, that could be all of them doing like Akechi and CPAP if they get to like 220, 225. Versus
but
your...
that's a lot of work for me.
Yeah, I know. Might be better to get like 3 characters each, like 300 nodes, and then have another 300 for your main, something like that.
Yeah, okay, I can do that. And like I leave the Cali B and like pick 3 warriors or characters to get to 200 with the nodes, and then they'll level up easily to 210 and 220.
Yeah, they'll level up a lot faster as well, of course. Yeah, once you get your boost nodes on point there. You probably want to make sure that you make like combined tri-nodes if you can, so that they have like your best mobbing skill and then your best attacking skills in one. So you just have one set of tries that make sure you can train enough to get to like 220, 225 without needing to make like 2 distinct sets and then level up twice as many boost nodes. Because that way you can get more of your node power to go into skill nodes for that bossing, so they can start powering up on the bossing as fast as possible. Because most classes have like one main bossing skill and then maybe a second one for the boost nodes. So if you can combine that, that'd be great. And if you open up a lot of nodes in one go, you'll have more nodes in one situation where you can pick, and then hopefully you can find those combinations better.
Okay, and what about like, is there a command for how many boost nodes each class needs? Because I know like there are some classes which need a lot of boost nodes. Like,
yeah, we have this
example,
one. This one. Yeah, Kane gets a lot. Yeah. But again, there are some priorities there, and there's some. So like Death Blessing, Strike Arrow, Dragon Fang, those are very important. Scattering Shot, Shaft Break, Falling Dust is a little bit less important. And then the last one, so you can see here, this one is for bossing. So you want to make the bossing one, and you want to make the main one. So if you're mobbing, if you're mainly going to be a bossing mule, you want to be strong enough to not need this one. If you're just going to be grinding, it's okay to just make the top 2, because then this one is specifically a bossing one.
Oh, okay. Like, I want to avoid characters that need more than 2 trials.
Yeah. Well, so some characters might eventually, even on this list, go for like 3 or some crazy amounts, like some Ho-Young shit. But most of the time, that's just to like max out in the end game when you have the space in your matrix anyway. And there are probably a bunch of them that you can cut without really feeling bad about it. So, well, we can go through the characters that you were talking about, right? You were talking about Dark Knight. Dark Knight, I think, makes Nightshade Explosion, Final Attack, Rush. Yeah, if enough slots. So for Dark Knight, you just go 1 combo. Dark Impale, Gunner's Descent, Evil Eye. And just trio 1. That's fine. Paladin, Hammer's Smite, Final Attack. Yeah, that's also just a min-max. If you get Blast, Divine Judgment, Divine Mark, Divine Charge, that's good enough as well. So just 1 trio. This one is more for mobbing and for like... And then... If there's like 1 or 2 good skills, we make a second trio, and then we throw whatever is useful in the third one, as a third skill in there. But that makes it just to give it more value, but that makes it look like it's super important because there's 3 skills in there. But it's more like, you're gonna have the space in your inventory eventually. But for bossing mule, yeah. What were the other ones?
I'll do hero. I already played it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was my boss mule in reg, so I know everything.
Yeah,
I'm
hero
going to do it.
1 for bossing. 1 is also fine. Raging Blow, Cravel Hollow, Final Attack, that's fine. The Puncture, Rising Rage, Beam Blade is really more for grinding. Yeah, it's also fine to just use Trio 1. And which other one?
Cannon Master.
Cannon Master. You have a lot of variants in Cannon Master. Converge Bazooka, Rolling Rainbow. Yeah, so here you're a little bit in the situation that I was talking about, where, so for bossing, the best would be to have Cannon, hang on, Bazooka is the mobbing skill, so Cannon Barrage, Rolling Rainbow, and then Monkey Militia will be the best for your bossing trio, but the Cannon Bazooka will add a lot of damage when you're mobbing. So this is probably one of the characters where you want to make like a fusion trio, like the trio 1 here. And then again, like Anchors Away and Monkey Mortar, like these are just like to min-max and to make sure that when you're mobbing later, you can actually use the summons and reasonably kill monsters with them. Without them, it'll be impossible to kill with them. But if you're mostly going for levels, it's like the Monkey Militia, the Cannon Barrage, Cannon Bazooka, and Rolling Rainbow that you're looking at. And the Cannon Bazooka is really specifically a mobbing skill here, and then the other ones are all bossing. So what you could also do, you know, if you have limited nodes, you find one that's like Cannon Barrage, Cannon Bazooka, Rolling Rainbow, and one that's Cannon Barrage, Monkey Militia, and Bazooka or something like that. You know, that's also like good enough. Because if you have limited nodes you're opening, I think specifically the Cannoneer has a decent amount of junk lines, like a lot of lower level skills in there as well. So for this one, it might be a little bit harder to find the ones that you need, so you could be a little bit more lenient there. But yeah, mostly one trio will be good enough here. Maybe you go 3 nodes or something, right? If you get like a combination third node that has like 3 of the lines, and then you don't have to level them up as much.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna review this video whenever I forget what's my goals. I'm gonna go for the 3 warriors for the next month or 2 and get them to like comfortable level. What kind of gear do I want to aim for? Like, I want to do up to CRA, right, like really easily in less than 30 minutes. Like all the bosses, maybe even Akechi and CPAP in 30 minutes. Is like epic gear with 6% stats and unique WSC enough, or should I go for higher?
Epic gear, unique WSE, yeah, so like 1.5 line WSE kind of thing, right? So like main attack line and then something else useful. The 3 things that I always mention that are super important in terms of efficient damage is getting 2 ID familiars if you can. If you can work towards reinforced Gallic set is super value. And if you can get your characters in a guild somehow that has at least like 1 max, preferably 2 max guild skills in terms of damage. That'll be so much damage that you don't have to actively spend money on, and that'll be a very cheap way in terms of Meso to increase your damage on your character a lot. And there's also a lot of like ID crit damage, like those fundamental stats in there that will definitely help you a lot. You know, comparatively, compared to someone who has like, you know, 9k Legion, every single level 3 skill, all of that already available.
I think most of my link skills are done.
Yeah, your link skills looked good, but like Legion wise, you could be filling a whole lot more of the block once you get like 8k, right?
Yeah.
Even like your Legion is definitely not bad. I'm not trying to say that, but this compared to like 8.5 or 9k is just there's so much more on the board. You're basically getting a whole extra block filled on the side, right? Instead of two side blocks filled, you just have 3, and then maybe some in the middle, and that's just, yeah. I mean, it's like an extra legendary line on your weapon or your secondary, just standard on all your characters. But those 3 things, so ID familiars, being in a guild, getting access, and reinforced colics, those are insanely good value for bossing mules, so I would work on those steps. And the other thing is like working towards Absolab. We still have, you know, quote-unquote carries until the end of Savior in the current state. So if you can exchange...
I can exchange. I can't hard on my main.
But you could, yeah, but you could normal for items maybe, right? For the orbs, right? It's just to speed it up a little bit. Or if you feel like you could find struggle parties with the characters themselves, then that's fine too. But if you're going to speed up towards Abzo, if you get what you said, like those things, but if you then slowly get the Abzo CRA pieces, and then with events get them up to 15, get them up to 17, like that will progressively speed up the character, plus the nodes, plus access to the guild, all of that stuff, flag and culvert when you can, and then you should see per character like which character needs more help than which other character, and how quickly can you do it, and then you just give to every character based among their needs. What will most likely happen is you'll get like a decent amount of cubes in like either there'll be a DMT kind of thing, or you'll get a decent amount of cubes from your bossing mules, which will start increasing, and you can't really use them on your Buccaneer because you'll just destroy your potential there. And then slowly get one at a time. You get like one of the WSE pieces to legendary, and then you get like 2 useful lines on legendary, and then you'll settle in much more comfortably into Lotus and Damien and really start being able to do those faster.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's like actually a pretty good plan for the upcoming months.
Yep. Yeah, and you have enough time because you're not like playing 12 hours a day. You have like more time to do it, so you can very clearly see like, okay, this character is already, this character just doesn't need anything. Like maybe because certain classes will just counter certain bosses, right? And you'll just not have to worry about things too much. And then you'll see like, oh, the Dark Knight, actually, if I make him like a little bit stronger, I can just stay in my iframe for all of CPAP, and I don't have to worry about any of the mechanics. So I'll just upgrade that guy a little bit, and then boom, now that guy is brain dead every week, and now he can just start printing money, and then I don't have to worry about that guy anymore at all. And then Event Shop comes out with nodes, and my main is good. Then they can all go into the Paladin, because maybe that one needs a little bit more help. Like, he can survive, but he's not as strong, so I just want his burst to be a little bit stronger, so, I don't have to... Maybe I could do like a strong boss, burst it down, then do a weak boss where I don't need to burst, and then my burst is back for the strong boss again, so I can alternate, You'll get a feeling for... when you're logging into a character. In the beginning, you just have to, you just kind of like suss it out, like what character needs what. And for your playstyle, of course, yeah. So, some character might be more annoying than you hoped it would be, and then you just want more damage to get it over with quicker. That's also gonna happen, probably.
Also have no problem with like scrapping a character.
Yeah, I do that now because you get like, if you get another Hyperburn and you get a 250, like there's no point in like sitting on a 225, even if it's funded, to be like, okay, I invested a lot of money into this, so I have to keep playing it. And it's like, well, this other character is like 250 and came with a bunch of free stuff. I could just do things like at half the duration or like way faster, and then it just, you switch out the character in your guild, you get the guild skills on the other character, and then you just move on to the other character kind of thing, right? So it's good to not be emotionally attached to a bossing wheel that's really just there to make money for you.
And like eventually, this is the game. If there's something I don't really enjoy, and I don't think it is worth the effort to put into it, I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm really behind on my commercy because on so many days, it's always the last thing I do. So on so many days, I'm like, not today. I'll do commerce tomorrow.
Yeah.
And just skip it.
That's a good way also of knowing of like where do you need to look for alternatives and look for other for other options, because if you find yourself skipping the same thing over and over again, it's probably just better to see if you can drop it in favor of something else.
I mean, I do it, and like the gains are pretty big, so
yeah, it's like, is it worth doing for the gain? Yeah.
It's not worth for burning out, like,
yes.
for it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, funding for the bossing mules seems good.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any other things like written down or things you wanted to ask about?
Oh, yeah. What should I change in my link skills when my 0 and Beastamer enter? Like, link skills 0, no, but soon I'll have both of them. Probably I'll try to use the EXP coupons on the Beastamer from 200 to 210.
Yes, yes, you can be able to create them next week. So this is your bossing one, and then this is your mobbing one, right? And for the mobbing
Yeah.
one, you have the extra crit, because the bossing, you get like 80% critical rate or some dumb shit like that on Buccaneer. So that's never necessary. So you're thinking of getting the... Yeah, the 0... You're probably past the point that the 0 is useful, because even for IED, it's only 10%.
Yeah. So mainly the beast tamer.
Mainly
Like,
Beast Tamer,
do I
yeah.
give up on the cadena?
If anything, it'll replace your elementalism when you're bossing, because it's 10% versus 10%, so that's the same. But then you get the crit rate extra, so that might allow. Maybe again for you, maybe it's probably the same, so you probably don't even have to switch. And the percentage HP and MP, on bossing doesn't really do anything. But for min maxing for numbers, it would technically replace the elementalism, because boss damage and regular damage is the same, right? So it's 10 for 10, but then extra crit, extra HP, extra MP. The Cadena would be 12, so you'd be losing 2% damage. If you need the crit, that could be a good switch, but only if Elementalism is already out, and only if the crit is needed, but for your buck it isn't. For mobbing, though, it'll be probably nicer if you can get still to 100% without the Phantom.
Yeah,
You
I don't
can,
need it.
yeah, you can weave it in. But again, the other part is boss damage, right? So that doesn't do anything when you're mobbing. So people who use the adventure the adventure mobbing one, you might even want to use this one over the Beast Tamer, because then at least you have more chance for monster collection if you care about that. So the main value for the Beast Tamer and for the main value for the 0 is the block of EXP in the Legion. And the main value for Beast Tamer is the combination of the Legion block and the ID boss damage. The crit rate boss damage, but mostly for like a growing Legion who's like still in the beginning, and you are struggling to get critical rate 100% on your mules. So I think the brunt of the link skill value for the BT is probably past, but the ID from the Legion block, so the Legion blocks for both of them are probably the most valuable for you at this point.
Yeah, I can't remember the Legion block or Beast Tamer, so.
Yeah, I think it's ID, like Blaster. So it's a low percentage, but at that point when you have so many characters in, your last few characters that are in are just in there for the size of the block. So if you can replace that for something with the same size, but with a little bit ID, that's always just a little bit of a benefit.
Yeah, so, but I shouldn't like replace something from my current Legion with the Beast Tamer.
No,
because when it grows.
From your current Legion.
Yeah, you can't really see.
Yeah, I can see exactly who's in there, but are there already Yeah, when it grows, if there's 200. Well, so the general priority is, first of all, you want to have the characters in there that have the member bonuses that you need, right? And then second priority is the size of the piece. And then the third priority is the rate power of the character.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I should get the 0 in as soon as possible, and after that, keep working on strength and things like that. I think strength gives me more damage than 5% ID, like another 100 stat.
It's possible. It's the member bonus are final amount though, right? So they don't get multiplied by stat.
Yeah, but I'm already on like 97% ID.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
Before I use the familiars.
Yeah. But that brings us also into the area where you can probably reroll your emblem quite soon. You want to work on that secondary first, right? Because the DMT and then the upgrade from your current stuff. But you can probably reroll the emblem. Because, let's say that your secondary rolls something like ID and boss damage and attack, which is not like fantastic, but that would free up your emblem completely to reroll for full attack.
Yeah, and like if I have like 3 to 4 bill weekly income, are my goals like relevant? Like doing hard listed in a month or so? Is that possible?
You said you're at 1.5 now?
Yeah.
in a month. You go 4. So, I mean, I guess when it comes to, like, upgrading, there's 3 big things, right? There's Starforcing, there's cubing, and there's your flaming, in that order. Starforcing, you know, you just did a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm expecting that the main things you're looking at now is mainly in cubing for upgrades, and then maybe a little bit flaming, right?
Yeah. Should I like start pushing for 3 lines on like WSC or more correctly SE?
Like 2.5 is usually what I would aim for at this stage. So you probably want all your 3 lines to do something, but if the 3rd line is either crit, percentage damage, or percentage stat, that would definitely be good enough.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So like an emblem like yours is probably fine to get up to this stage, but now where everything is, for your secondary that you're going to be rolling, you probably want to aim a bit better than this overall, because to you essentially the critical rate is a deadline. For other classes it might be good enough to roll this, like if you need the IED kind of, and if the crit also takes pressure off of your hyper stats, off of your legion grid, all of that, then this could be a pretty good emblem. But for you, your ID is already very high, you got a good legion already, you still have superior Golics coming in that's going to blow this out of the water, maybe even familiars that make the IED obsolete. So then essentially this is like a 1.5 line thing. So there's way more outs for you that will be better. 2 line attack and a line of damage, 2 line attack, line of stat.
21%, like minimum.
Yeah, 21 attack minimum I would aim for on this guy, yeah. But again, I would roll the secondary first, because that has a bigger like upgrade compared to your current secondary. And then depending on what the secondary rolls, then you can go back to the emblem. And then you can have a better idea of what does the emblem need. Because if your secondary rolls like only attack, then your emblem would probably be okay with a line of IED, but only if it's also 2 lines of attack and a line of IED kind of thing. Or maybe at worst, like 12 attack, 30 IED, 9 damage or something. That would be like the worst one I would settle for it in that situation.
So like this. Oh, and I need to buy a very hard.
Yeah. That's you have all the way until like end of August, and that's 4 bill, right? So if you invest more into the Boston Mules now, get their income up, then by the end of the event, it won't even be like 1 week's worth of money to just buy the heart. And there's no super rush. And then again, you'll run out of things that you can upgrade and get easy damage on. So then if you get the heart later, then you can suddenly make a decent upgrade for very affordable money. And then that'll feel that for your mental, that's a good boost to get.
But I'll probably try to get it before the DMT to save the cubing cost to legendary.
Oh, when is heart? Is it together with emblem?
Yeah, no, not with emblem.
Oh, with accessories.
It's in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's sooner. You're right. Yeah, because that will save you probably like 500 mil or something on the tier up part. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you want to buy it then. Yeah. That's better. Because then you'll have more money to spend towards getting the right potential, which is already pretty cheap. But anywhere you can save money at this point. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point.
Oh, heart is mid-August.
Mid-August. Oh, the 12th of
2 weeks.
Emblem, rings, accessories, August 12th. Wait, but that doesn't have heart on it, right? Hang on. Let's check
the events.
Yeah, let's check in the events. Yeah, that's what we have it for, baby. Oh wait, I already had it open, I think. Now I have it open twice. Good job. Just to double check for everyone.
Heart is on the August 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got 4 weeks for accessories and everything. Okay, so...
Yeah, mechanical heart, yeah.
Money.
Yeah, see, yeah, so you have an extra month to buy that. So it'll give you a little bit more leeway. And gloves is on the 29th. And weapon secondary... Yeah, shield is also a secondary, so I don't know why they have it separate. Weapon and secondary is this Sunday, yeah. That's this Saturday. And you were talking about for DM, you were talking about this one. Yeah, 50% off inner-ability. Yeah, that's this Sunday. So you have that to work on in the short term, and then some other things to think about a little bit more in the long term.
Yeah. Okay. I think time is up as well.
Yeah, we have a little bit more. A few things that I noticed. If you get flames now, what's your priority? Where do you throw those?
Like usually there's like an item I keep throwing all my boss flames
Mm-hmm.
like on until I get something decent.
Yeah.
Let me check my current flames because I don't remember them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dominator doesn't matter anymore, so not that.
Yeah. Otherwise, that in the past that would have been priority, right? So you can start trying to transpose.
Yeah, I think my hat is currently the bad
Yeah.
one.
Okay. Well, I'm just checking. Yeah. Okay. You found that pretty quickly, so I feel pretty confident that you'll figure that out. Then we don't have to dig too deep. But yeah, I would say definitely that because like what 24.
Yeah, that's what I'm throwing it.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was 16 and 6% all stat,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I think that's like or 5% all stat, so it was
Mm-hmm.
pretty weak. So
Yeah.
I decided to blame it.
Yeah, just bring them up evenly. The one thing you have as well is you'll get to the Pink Holy Cup probably pretty soon. So if you have a Pink Holy Cup on the side, you don't have to, flame on the current one. So you can kind of do like with the emblem, right? If the other one gets better, then you can replace it. And then if everything else gets brought up past the cup later, then you can always just flame the one on the side again. And you don't have to risk losing your current one. That's the benefit of having a piece that doesn't need to be potential and Starforce and all of that. So that you can very easily just switch them out if you find a better one.
Yeah, I don't really like to flame my cup at all because each time you get it, it's like an eternal flame, if I'm not mistaken.
If it drops, yeah. It's eternal roll, yeah.
Which is a way higher roll than everything else. So if I flame, I usually will, even if my cup is worse than other things, I usually won't flame it and focus on the next worst thing.
Okay, it's up to you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's one logic. Are you working on like alchemy as well to see if you can maybe fuse them?
My alchemy is like I'm level 10 at alchemy and I think accessory crafting already.
Mm-hmm. So if you get your alchemy to level 12, so to Meister, then every time you fuse two cups together, it's also the quality of an eternal flame. If you want to do that.
Yeah, that sounds like out of headache to.
Yeah, the maintenance on that is higher. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do that.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe like I'll get 20 cups and then I'll do that, but not consistently.
Yeah, I mean, if you have 20, you have 20 rolls. But if you have fusion and you have 20, then you have 39 rolls, right? It's like 2x minus 1 because of the fusion. So
It's something
to think about. It's always 2x minus 1 because the one gets consumed one time, but then it gives an extra one that you can always use the next time.
And which galaxy should I go for first? Like, should I get the pendant because I don't really have a second pendant, or should I go for
the ring?
Ring because
probably pendant in your situation because you're gonna have access to all of these event rings, which are essentially as strong as a 17-star ring anyway. The ring only really like the accessory pieces, the superior, are all actually kind of shitty. They're only good if you have all of them together for the set bonus. So as long as you don't have all of them, just look whichever piece gives you more value. And if you don't have a secondary damage pendant yet, then I would go for the pendant first, because the event rings will just carry the damage.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you have a nice amount of event coins, Monster Park coins, I see. You're going to start stockpiling some potions.
I already have hundreds in my storage.
Nice. Are you using them on your mules as well, or?
Yeah. Whenever I do anything,
I see someone.
I can't be with sub 10. Attack bid.
I see a lot of strength characters, diligently doing some dailies and then stockpiling way too many resources. Like I see a lot of me in some of these things. You have 2 Kaisariums. Oh, look at that! It's like we're in chat. No. That's early in the game to have 2 of those already.
Yeah, I got it on the first week I did Hard Magnus, which is like the first week of this character, and right after.
Nice.
And it's like I got it and I didn't know what it is. It's the first time I heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got really lucky the first 2 weeks.
Nice. Well, let's hope that works as well with like the slime ring or something, because that's one that can take a long time waiting for itself. Yeah, and that'll depend as well on the party, right? If you're trying to scale up, if you have a hard lucid, if you get like a set party, like do they want to move towards hard will? Do you want to move towards chaos slime? Do you want to move towards gloom? Right? That's it's going to depend on how the party goes with your like access to bosses and items.
Oh yeah, I have no idea how do I find the party. I know I'll eventually have to find it. I have no idea how.
Well, step one is just asking often and just in a lot of different places. So I would like ask in the chat every now and then. You can ask in like the guild chat and the alliance chat every now and then. Because if you can get like in the Discord, there's a room as well, right? For Lucid and Will, for people who are looking for parties. You can just add people in there. If they don't want to be added, then they should just leave that room anyway. That room is there for people who want to do Lucid and Will boss fights. So if you can add one person in Discord, one person in the chat, one person in the alliance, now you have 4 people with yourself together, right? And then maybe you could do like a listing, like a boss listing, see if you can find some fills. Maybe, one of those people is stinky and you shouldn't play with them ever. And maybe the other person is a great person, and now you have 5. And then either, if one of the people knows one person in the buddy list, like you're good. So, but you have to get started somewhere. So I would ask often and in a lot of different places to get started. And,
yeah, but like in the guild, for example, everyone like feels super strong, like way stronger than I am, and like this entire character was built on the premise that I want this to be a complete, like proper progression where if I don't contribute enough, I don't want to do the boss.
No, I get that. But there might also be some people who are very strong, but they might have a second or third or fourth character that's like right where your character is. And they might also not want to get carried on that character and might want to do it, like you said, like proper progression, right?
Yeah.
So just because someone is logged into their level 273 character that can just like nuke the boss, that doesn't mean that they might not have a character that's right where you are. Because, everybody's main is someone else's secondary character and is someone else's 5th character. That's just how it goes with a game like this big and this old. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask, and don't get, like, defeated if you don't get any replies, but just ask more often. Like, the guild and the alliance will always be fine if you're like, hey, I'm trying to do hard lucid and hard will. Anyone want to join on a character? Like, standard requirements, like around 2.5 trill. And you just say that like once a day or like twice a day. No one's gonna say like, oh, you're asking for lucid and will party, too often. Like no one's gonna say that. But like if people ask for carries, then like yeah, the alliance doesn't like that at all. So it would always be trying to support people who are trying to do it, like you said, the proper way. I mean, that's a little bit loaded, of course, of a term, but yeah. So yeah, ask, fire away in the chat. If I see it in the chat, I'll always try to, if anyone is looking for a party like that in the Twitch chat, I always try to repeat it, say it out loud so that the people who are lurking maybe can hear it. I mean...
Yeah, well, I got another month at least.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are impatient on Thursdays to try to run immediately after reset, so you might get some desperate people / people who are just trying to get the clear, so that's a best time to find a lot of people, but the quality of the people might not be as good. And on Wednesdays, you might find more people willing to give it a shot if they haven't gotten a run yet that week. But weekends is usually when people are most available. And then, seeing the boss menu, maybe seeing like a pair of people, a couple of people in the boss UI, right? If they're looking for a party. And then,
most of what I see in Boss UI is asking for carries.
Yeah. Here's someone looking for a trade. Will, this is just recruiting for Will. That's a 272 Adele. That's maybe a little bit overpowered. Yeah, right now. It's a little bit early right now, probably. I mean, we're still in a North America-dominated server, right? So it's got to be late for you, most likely. You're quite a few, you're like 10 hours off of PT, right? Yeah. Weekends will only work. If people want to play after work at like 6 p.m. for you, that's like, was that 4 a.m.? Yeah, that's not going to happen. have to be East
I'm up
Coast.
until reset -1 or -2 usually,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, or like right after that I go to sleep.
Yeah, a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you could join our Saren party." I was like, "What is it?" "Oh, it's reset +3." I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's 5 a.m. That's not gonna, that's not gonna happen." Yeah, so that could be tricky in more in a Euro or even more East time zone. But yeah, ask in a lot of different places. Ask often, and our reliance, like our Rainsong Guild, is pretty much only Euro, right? So they will be time zone wise also a lot closer to us.
Yeah.
So definitely try that one. And if you ask too much, then someone will tell me like someone in your guild is spamming, and then I'll yell at you. But that's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I hope you find the party. Well, like you said, you have another month. And if anyone in the chat or anyone who watches this video wants to start a Hard Lucid Hard Will party soon, maybe with their Hyperburn, maybe with their Kali, if there are just absolutely crazy, then someone just partied before door. Then yeah, reach out. Nitai in the... Is it just Nitai? No, with some numbers, right? In the Twitch chat?
Let me check. Yeah, Nitai 100.
Nitai 100, there you go. If you are looking. Alright, yeah, that's all I could do for you today.
Thank you.
Okay, that's good. Best of luck, and with the interoperability and everything. And, well, we'll speak soon. You're in chat, we're in contact, so...
Yeah.
I'll hear if there's anything else I can do.
Thank you very much.
Alright, you're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, Discord update. Poggers. Yes. So, if this session was interesting to you in your situation, or you want to reach out, or anything else, let me know. Thanks for checking it out. I stream every day over on twitch.tv/Scardor. You can see in the top left, you can see the chat actively just yelling at people, asking questions that I can't actively answer in the moment, because I am doing the session, but I will get to the questions after the session. If you want one of these sessions, check out !coaching in the chat, or check the description of the video. You can get a session through... you can buy a session, buy my time, essentially. You can request a session with channel points, like this one, if you're a subscriber over on Twitch, which is way cheaper. And all you have to do is just watch the stream and be in there. Or you can leave a comment on this video saying that you would like to win a session, and include your Discord name so I can reach out to you. And then you could be one of 2 lucky people at the end of the month who gets chosen for a free session. I do those as well. So if that's appealing to you, let me know. Anything else, if you have any additional questions, if you have any comments on anything I said or anything that was discussed here, let me know. And if you want to use any of the resources here that I pull up, these are all freely available through my Twitch chat by using the ! And then the topic of your choice, or just use !info, and then you get a link to a huge spreadsheet with like over 200 commands that has all the info. And that's freely available to everyone, even when I'm online, offline, over on Twitch. So use that at your leisure. At your leisure, whatever. Whichever one you prefer. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you either on the next one or live over on stream. Again, that's twitch.tv/Scardor. I stream there every day. You can ask me about anything, and we can talk about anything, and hope to see you then. All right. Peace. Bye.